Hi everyone, it's Simmerhayls here and welcome to the Sims 4 Shell Challenge. This one is one that I found on a Facebook group for Sims 4 builders, and I've just added the screenshot of the challenge below. So if you want to check it out and you want to do it yourself, have a look at the group and just have a go at the Shell Challenge. And also here's a picture of the image that kind of gave me the idea for this build and what I was going for. So that's kind of the inspiration behind the colour scheme and the way that it does look overall, although I've not followed it exactly. It was just kind of that was my inspiration, like with the black and the orangey type wood. I just thought, although in the image it's a metal container, it's like a proper eco build, so I went for the eco theme, but I went for wood instead of metal, and I've tried to go really modern with this one. I do like modern builds anyway, so that's not really a stretch from what I'm used to, but with the shape and everything it was a bit of a challenge, and I'd really had the idea that I wanted the door on this diagonal part, which can make stairs and things tricky, so I've gone for platforms. And because of that, I've made the bottom half of the build medium wall height, because then you still have quite enough room with the platforms, because the downstairs is like a whole platform, so it's like 2 levels up, which if it was on the shortest wall height it wouldn't give you that much room. So I think for the height of the rooms to be normal, I just thought it worked better with the medium wall heights for the downstairs. So yeah, that's where I've gone with that. So we've got, it's fully like clad in this black wooden panelled slats, and then we've gone for these like really modern orange parts, which I just think looks quite dramatic, and especially in this world where eco lifestyle is set, and the pack, I just think it works really nice in this world. Now, I didn't realise when I started building this that I was building at the back of the lot, so at the very end I do have to flip the whole build round facing the other way, because otherwise on the gallery you're just seeing the back of the property, which wasn't as attractive as the front, I've got to say. We've got the bin store at the back and things, so yeah, I had to flip the whole build round because I didn't realise I was building at the wrong side of the lot. This is the lot where Tina Tinker lives, so I've kept that family there, and I've just kind of worked with the people we had in that family and then tried to make the rooms suitable for, like, there's Tina and her partner, and there's a little girl, so, and then they've got a spare room, so it's not like it's filled with rooms, it's not ridiculously huge, but the downstairs is a really nice size. And then we've got the main bedroom at the front, we've got a little office next to it, we've got the child's bedroom and a spare room, so quite a nice size property, really modern throughout, I think. And then we've got lots of these little balcony areas as well, so they've got loads of outside space on this one. And what I've also done is, instead of using the whole lot as like a big oblong lot, I've made it look like it's been cut into an area that's been left, so there is actually a little community part next to the building where people can just come and sit, and there's a little path round, and then this property's been built in the area around that, so you'll kind of see that as the build develops, and then you'll see the area that I kind of sectioned off for a little community area. So yeah, it's a bit different, rather than just using the whole oblong shape that we're kind of left with. I wish you could kind of section areas off in The Sims so that you don't have just these bog standard square blocks that you can build on. So it would be nice to have the choice to have some unusual kind of plot areas, which I know in Paralives, when that's eventually released, you can actually change the plot sizes, which I think would be a really good thing to have in The Sims as well, but we haven't got it at the minute, so I just sectioned it off myself. But yeah, we're just getting the layout did take me quite a while. I really struggled with where to put the bathrooms, and the bathrooms are tiny, but I have play tested them and they work. So even though it looks a bit squashed where the toilet is in the ensuite bathroom, it can still be used, so at least, although it's small, it is functional. The living space I probably struggled with the most because I just wasn't sure how to lay it out, but I knew where I wanted the kitchen straight away. So when you come in the front door and head to the right, that's going to be the kitchen, and then we've got a dining room off there, and the dining room is quite quirky. We've got a bit of kind of living art, or a bit of an obscure art which I've created with plants and some wall decorations. So I've not seen anyone else do it, but I did get the inspiration of a show which is shown in the UK called what is it, Make Your Home, I can't remember the name of it, but basically they go around their house the way it is with a VR headset, and then they can see what an architect would do to it to make their home better. So they get to see in VR, walking around, how their home could look if they did the work that they want, like what the architect thinks would make their home better, basically. And that show has got so many good ideas on it. It's a BBC show, so I'm not sure if you can get it in other countries, but yeah, it's really, really good. And that kind of gave me the inspiration for this kind of really obscure art in the dining room. So yeah, I went with that. And I went with the full diagonal theme for the entrance. I thought, well, if the door's on the diagonal, we can have the whole path going on the diagonal. I think it just works really nicely. And then we've got quite a big back garden, we've got a little pool. But I think if the whole build is eco-friendly, it's got solar panels on the roof, maybe this pool could be solar panel heated or something, so maybe it can fit in with the whole eco vibe as well, even though it's quite modern. And then we've got quite a bit of fake grass, and we've got some different textures going on in the back garden when it's all finished. It's a bit of an unusual one, actually. I was going to just fill the whole thing with plants, but actually I thought I wanted to do something different with this one. So yeah, we get quite a few different textures in this one, and there is some plants, but they're more decorations than planters. Yeah, it's just really modern, and I think it fits the house really well, rather than having a garden that was a bit more like that fits in with a countryside pack. I think this one really fits the build well, and hopefully the people who live in it as well. I've given Tina Tinker a bit of a makeup. She's a bit more gothic now, but yeah, I think this build, the garden, suits the build really well. And also I wanted the pool all this blue colour, but then you couldn't really see the edge, the bottom edge, so I've just put these strips around the bottom just so that you can see the defined edge. There wasn't for anything other than that, there wasn't for any purpose, but I just wanted to be able to see that bottom edge so you could see where the corners of the pool were. So yeah, just more for aesthetic reasons, really. We've got this bench seating which I really like on the balcony, and we've got loads of little pockets of areas where you can just have a sit down. So there's loads of different seating areas, and I just think it sections off the build. And I've added a few different activity areas. So there's like yoga. We've got this little reading nook as well. So again, that's activity. We've got a little computer area as well, so there's definitely different areas where your Sims can do their different activities. I think I do actually put a painter's easel on one of the balconies as well. So yeah, I think there's plenty of different activities that your Sims can do in this build, but actually doing the layout probably took me the longest out of everything for this build. And like I said, this is the back of the build, and this is the little, what are they called, like a bin store. I don't know what they're called, like a little bin store. My nana used to call them a sin bin, so that's what I always called them. I don't know if they're known as that like everywhere, or if that's just a local thing. But yeah, I thought we're going to have a proper bin store. I'm not just going to place them out the back. I want them to be kind of a little bit covered, so they've got gates and only the residents can use them then. Although they're not functional gates, but I just think they look the part and kind of tie everything in a little bit. The dining room is quite a decent size. You've got 6 chairs in there, and it doesn't stay this plain. I think when it's all decorated, it comes together. And my idea with this room was to have lots of different objects that it looks like they've travelled and then they've collected different things. So there's a bit of a mixture of collectibles in there. So it's like they've travelled, and then these are some of the things that they've kind of had from their travels in here. So I think the mishmash tends to work in here. These old pots I think work really well if you're going for a sim who could have travelled around a bit. So I think these kind of items work really well for that. But yeah, we've got loads of green, and I've tried to add quite a bit of colour to this build. I didn't want it to be really plain, so I've gone for colour. We don't stick with this lime green for the kitchen, but we do swap it out for like the tealy type green. I thought this one looked a bit garish considering the other colours. If everywhere else was a bit plainer and you just had the kitchen really colourful, I think this one would work. But I think if you're going to have colour everywhere, this is probably a bit too much. So yeah, we swap it for this tealy green, and I think that works really well with the other colours that we've got. But I wouldn't go for the lime green with loads of other colours. It looks like a bit like a primary school in there when you have too many colours going on. I did try a cream kitchen, but I just didn't think it worked with this build. I thought it really needs something a bit different because it is kind of a quirky build, and especially with the black and orange on the outside, I just thought it needed a bit of injection of colour and fun in this build, not just standard boring kitchens. So yeah, we went all out and added a lot of colour. One of my favourite rooms in this house ends up being the living room, and I was kind of struggling with the layout, but we've got a lot of the rusty orange, like autumn colours in there, and I just think it looks really inviting and really homely when that's all finished. So that's probably one of my favourite rooms. But the kitchen, there's loads of room in here, and I really like this colour. I think it is a bit fun without being too in your face. And then obviously the little corner next to the doors with the seating, that's really bright. So I think your eye's kind of drawn through the kitchen to that little area at the back. And I think it's all tied in because you've got the greens over there as well. And you've got the greens in the dining room, so it ties the three different areas together, although they are kind of distinct in their own little ways as well. This is my little wall art that I was talking about, and I just think it looks really cool when it's finished, and it's something a bit different. I've not seen it done in any builds, and I've not done it before, but I just think it's something really quirky and different, and yeah, I just like the way it's turned out. I tried a few different options, but in the end I went for the autumn colour, and yeah, I just think it's, you're not going to get it in every house, but it is fun and it's just a bit different, so I kind of like that. So yeah, we've got this kind of tree wall art, and then we've got, it looks like a tapestry that again could have been collected from their travels, and then we have some pots and things. So I just think that area is kind of quirky and cool in its own little way. So yeah, them three areas, although they're quite different, I think they're tied in really nicely to each other. We get a little downstairs toilet. I think that's all you need downstairs. I don't think you need a full-on bathroom, but it's just somewhere visitors can go. Got a little hallway when you walk in with some storage. We've got somewhere you can put your shoes and coats, and then the living room's just a modest size. It's not too big. And a little office, and then you've got a little balcony at the front as well. I'm not sure if you saw that on the video, but we've got a little balcony at the front with plants, and just before you get out to that balcony there is a little chess table as well. This area does change a few times because, like I say, I think this bit I was really struggling with because I wasn't sure how to lay it out, and I wanted to make the most of each area, so there was no area that was just not for a purpose, and I really wanted to use this eco lifestyle fire, but I just didn't think it fit in this small area because it would be really cramped with that fire in, so I ended up moving to the living area and then making this just a little home office area. And I think at least that area is really practical, it's used well, and then I think with the little chess table as well, there's quite a few activities in that area, and then you've got the relaxing area where you've got the fire and the TV and this little living room. But like I say, it did take me such a long time to just get the layout right, but I think it was worth spending that time, just because when it's finished, I just think it just all comes together and all the colours come together. And it was basically based around this fireplace, because I really loved that rusty colour. So that's kind of where the theme of the living room was taken from. And this chevron pattern, it's kind of like a wooden print, really. That I think is from the bowling pack. I don't think I've used that one very much, or if I have, not in this colour, but I just really love that colour. I will use that one more because I just don't think I've ever used that colour. And if I've used that wallpaper, I've probably used it in white in a kitchen, but I don't think I've used it very often. I really do like that one, and I just think it works really well with this build and with that fireplace. But I don't know if you should base a whole room around a fireplace, but I certainly did with that one. I changed the storage options in the hallway so many times, it was just a bit ridiculous how much time I spent on that. And also the platform, I think it might be a glitch, but every time I save the game and come back into it, the platform edge, it kept deleting the platform edge that I'd put on it. Only on the inside platforms though, because the ones outside, they kept theirs. So I think that must be a glitch within the game. I'm not sure, but I wasn't touching that room and it kept deleting the edge of that platform. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, just to make anyone aware, if they do decide to do this and the platform edge is missing, I think it's just a glitch with the game. I really like this. I think this isn't just another quirky area of the house. So you've got like these big panels of plant artwork, and then you've got this big huge plant in front of it. I just think it's something that you're not going to get in every build, but in one like this you can kind of get away with it because it's a bit unexpected, and you've got these little corners that are just, could be a bit useless, or you could put some bookcases in them, but why not just do something a bit different in a build like this, because you're not going to be able to get away with it in most builds. But yeah, I think this one can take it because it's definitely a bit of a fun build. So yeah, we've got definitely these really odd little areas that just make it a bit unique. I was going to go for a standard barbecue, and I thought, no, let's go for something that looks like it's been recycled, because yeah, I just think with the eco-friendly theme, this works really well. So we've got the recycled old tin barbecue, and the reason I used these blocks is just to cover up that gap at the bottom. I just thought it looks like it would be covered up. You know, if it was your home, you wouldn't really want that big gap at the bottom of your decking. So I just thought I'll cover it up with these blocks. Couldn't get them exactly near the door, but I thought it covers most of that up. And then we've got seating out there, and yeah, I had loads of little decoration things out there as well. This is the master bedroom, but this changes quite a bit because it was such a huge room. I just didn't think it made sense. So this room actually ends up getting halved in between the windows, and then we get a little office and the master bedroom. And there's still plenty of room in the master bedroom, even when it is cut down in half. There's still loads of room, I think, for a big bedroom, because they've got their ensuite off it and built-in storage as well. I just think there's more than enough room when the room was cut down, and then you've got this extra usable space as well, rather than just having this oversized bedroom where half of it isn't really used. And I didn't want to put a desk in the master bedroom because I thought they've actually got a desk downstairs, and yeah, just it wouldn't have made sense in this build. I've gone for quite monochrome decorations in this room. There's like the odd pop of colour, which is the candles. I don't think there's anything else that's really colourful in this bedroom. But when the rest of the house is colourful, I think this kind of stands out as a look, because you've got the contrast from coming from such colourful downstairs to this monochrome bedroom. So it is kind of, it's got its own little vibe of being completely monochrome with this one pop of colour. So yeah, just these decorations on here is the only colour in the room that I can remember. So yeah, it's a bit of a contrast, but hopefully it works. And yeah, decorating this and adding all the little clutter items, I've probably spent a long time doing that as well, because I was going through so many different options and thinking, what can I add? And yeah, I think that did take a while. Also, just to mention, because I just saw it come up on screen then, I'm still having the glitch where you'll carry on doing things and then the windows just go, like, the wall shows through the window, and I don't know. I just wish they'd fix that, because then you just have to move the window slightly and then it's back to normal. So I wish EA would fix that little glitch. Also, I'm still having the glitch on the mirror, but again, I don't think this is EA's fault. I think it's something to do with the AMD graphics cards, because they're the only ones having the problem with the mirror glitch, which is basically, it's not reflecting at all. It's like you're looking through the mirror to the other side of it, so you can see outside of the building instead of a reflection into the building. It's a really strange glitch, and as far as I know, it's only affecting people with AMD graphics cards. So I kind of hope that gets fixed, because it doesn't really affect the build at all. It's just when you're building and you're adding mirrors, you're just getting these really strange looking images in the mirror. You can turn reflections off, but they look so bland compared to everything else. So yeah, it's just one of those niggling things which I wish we could get fixed, but I don't know if there's going to be a fix to them. And as far as I know, it's not only affecting The Sims as well. I think it's affecting other games. So AMD really need to sort out this issue with them. But again, I just don't know if it will happen. This is the little girl's bedroom in the build. So we're back to loads of colour. We've gone for mainly this like turquoise and pink in everything, and then but there's loads of colour, you know, it's like a colour bomb gone off in this room. Also, the new little decorations that we got as a free update, I've used them on the shelf as like hair bows, so it looks like she's got all these different hair bows, and she keeps them on the shelf. So they're not meant to look like gift bows ready to go on a gift. That my thinking was they look more like hair bows, so that's why I put them on the shelf with like her nails and other little beauty things, because then, you know, you're doing your nails and stuff, and then you put your hair bow in. That's my thinking behind that. And then we've just cluttered the shelves up with some pictures and some other little of the kids' objects that we've got. I struggled a little bit with the layout in here because it's so cramped, and I wanted to fit quite a lot in for her. She's got the bunk bed, so obviously you've got the space under there, so you could fit a desk. And then we've got some objects, some toys and things that can be interacted with, and a wardrobe as well. So there's quite a lot cramped into that small space for the daughter. And then the room next to that is the guest room. So we just get a double bed, and I wanted to have a little bit of the quirkiness in there, but I wasn't sure on colour. So I've gone with kind of two colours, but yeah, it's probably not as quirky as some of the other rooms, but I've tried to inject a bit of personality into this room as well. And yeah, I think that's kind of it for the build. Everything else is just kind of finishing touches and just a bit of detailing. The last bit of detail I do is in the garden, and where the grass is. I add the flooring that we got in the Japanese pack, and I don't use it very often, but what I did was kind of create like this matte flooring for the garden chairs to go on, and I just think that finishes off the garden really nicely. So that is kind of the final little detail that we've got going on in the build. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this speed build. It's kind of been a lot of talking and yeah, a bit of a mashup really of different styles, and just a bit of fun really. I did have a channel, but I deleted it because I was I was going between different games. I thought, no, I'm going to focus on The Sims. It's the game that I know the best. So I'm starting from scratch again with the channel, and hopefully you can just have fun, get some build ideas, and yeah, just enjoy some different Sims content. So I just kind of enjoy Sims for a bit of escapism, and yeah, just a bit of creativity and escapism, really. So if you enjoy like different style builds, all of my builds are kind of a little bit different, but I do tend to stick to modern builds. I occasionally do some traditional ones, but not very often. So yeah, if you like that, then please like and subscribe, and I'll be uploading hopefully at least one video a week, if not two. If I can manage two, I will do two a week. But yeah, it'll just be concentrating on Sims 4 builds. I don't really do much gameplay, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, and if you do enjoy it, then I'll keep uploading them. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I know it's a little bit chaotic, but I think that's me all over, really. But yeah, we're kind of coming to the end of the build. I'm just going to do the community area, which is this little path. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. So I wanted this area where it didn't look like it was part of the build. I wanted the build to look like it was filling a space that was just empty before, and it's not just this big oblong piece of land. So that's why I really wanted this little corner as somewhere that it was already used before the building. And what I decided to go for was a little community path and seating area, like a little plaza, but on a really small scale, basically. So yeah, this is what I came up with: a little raised planter area, some benches, and some street lighting as well. And I just think it gives it that image of an area that was used before the building was on the lot. So yeah, I've used a load of debug objects for this, so it doesn't really add to the land value, but it just gives it a bit of a different look compared to, yeah, the rest of the building. And I've also separated it with this more ugly fence, because I thought, well, they wouldn't pay for the fence for the community area, so we've got this kind of ugly fence which they cover up from their side with ivy, so it's a bit more hidden from their view. And then from the community side, you know, it's very plain. And yeah, but at least that area is something that other Sims could use, presumably. I don't know if they would step onto your lot, really, but at least there's a little seating area and stuff that they can use. And I just think it adds to the little area vibe and makes it a bit more realistic, basically. So yeah, add a few lights to it as well, just the garden flat lights. I did try some of the garden lights that they look like they belong in flower beds, but I don't know, I didn't really like the light from them, so I've gone for these flat circle ones and just raised them up, and I think they give off a bit of a brighter light as well, so they look really nice. And I love the ivy look along the fence as well. I think that looks really cool. I did try a few different textures for the garden to see if I could make it work with the grass, but actually I think a complete false ground, you know, like an artificial ground, just looked better. So the Japanese mats looked really good. I think they give a really good contrast against the other areas of the garden. So yeah, it's not your traditional garden, but it wouldn't be if you've got a house like this. You're not going to have a traditional garden, so I think it works well with this build. So anyway, I'll leave it with that. I hope you like the build, and if you do want to download it, it's on my Sims 4 gallery. If you just search Simmerhayls, you'll be able to have a look at my builds, and you can download any of them. So if you do want to use this build in your game, then feel free to have a look on the gallery and you can download it. So yeah, I'll leave you with the screenshots. Take care, and I'll be back with some more videos soon. Bye!